Tell them how this nigga like sold his soul. This nigga like sold his soul and shit. Like, you really need to dig deep.
He then posted this, which is what made people the most concerned, stating, "They sold their soul, they mad I won't do it."
Alright, man, so I've been hearing about this, man. I've seen a few people on my timeline, or a few videos, shall I say, on my timeline speaking about Fanum going against Cenat and AMP. Okay, so I definitely wanted to see what's going on here. Shout out to The Truth Is, all right? The Truth Is, I have reacted to a couple of videos on The Truth Is channel, all right? And to see The Truth Is cover streamers, that's pretty cool, man, all right? So apparently, Fanum exposes AMP, Cenat for selling their souls, for selling out to the industry, okay? And like I tell you guys all the time, allegedly, all right, allegedly, YouTube, you know what I'm saying? I don't know the facts. This is just my opinion, okay? Allegedly, the devil has his hands in everything, not just the music industry, in the entertainment industry, not just that, in the food industry, not just that, in the electronic, whatever the fuck it is, the devil has his hands in at the very, very tippy top, okay? I hate to say it, but in order to get to a certain level, bruh, you're gonna have to make some sacrifices. That just is what it is. That's just my opinion. This is not facts, all right? Let's get into it. Let's do it. Make sure you tell a friend, tell they ain't your mama, tell their uncle Joey still a hoe. Let's get right into the video, but let's get it.
AMP is one of the most popular streaming crews on the internet. The two most popular members of the crew have to be Cenat and Fanum. Over the last few years, Kai has literally dominated the streaming space, becoming one of the most popular streamers in America. Fanum has also seen a rise in popularity, as he's closely associated with Kai, being seen in plenty of his streams. They also stream together, a part of the AMP collective. It seemed like Fanum and Kai were close friends, so that's why it really caught the internet off guard when it appeared Fanum either left AMP or got kicked out. Recently, Fanum made some posts that left many questions about how his relationship with AMP stands, with people claiming these tweets indicate he left the streaming crew. While I wasn't really concerned with that, what I was concerned with was Fanum seemingly claiming that AMP sold their soul and he wouldn't. Now, the internet is wondering, did Fanum just expose AMP for selling out? Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to The Truth Is, where I drop new videos exposing the truth weekly. In today's episode, we will be talking about Fanum exposing AMP. Let's get right into it. Over the last few years, the world has been seeing the rise of streamer culture. What was once seen as a nerdy gamer thing has now become the most popular form of content out. It's no longer just for people playing games on stream. It has become the new reality show, with IRL streamers being the hottest thing since fish grease. Leading that rise of popularizing streaming was DJ Academics. He was one of the first streamers in hip-hop who wasn't on Twitch strictly streaming games. People like Academics popularized streaming.
Ice Poseidon too. Even though Ice Poseidon, he is a piece of shit, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. But if we're talking about streamers who were doing IRLs, who were, you know, like, yeah, Ack was doing shit for the hip hop industry. But in terms of just IRL straight, you know, content, going out and doing things, going outside and like meeting people and all of this shit and getting stream sniped and all of that, we're talking about Ice Poseidon, bro. One of the coldest niggas to do it. Like I said, he's a weirdo, he is, right? But his work ethic is fucking crazy, right? His entertainment level is crazy. He knows how to get people to tune in and all of that shit. But throughout his career, he's done questionable things, right? He's done things that go against morals and character, right? He scammed his audience out of thousands of dollars when the crypto shit was booming. You know, he was one of those people who, you know, told everybody to get in, and he did a rug pull and pulled all the money out and left everybody, you know, all of his supporters and fans bag holding and shit like that. So he was one of them. But you can't mention streaming without mentioning Ice Poseidon. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but if you have, let me know in the comments. If you haven't, then you won't know. But I would say Ice been doing this shit for like what, maybe 10 years? At least 8 years, you know what I'm saying? And really doing it at a high level. Everybody else is just catching up, you know?
Streaming in hip-hop, which inspired the king of streaming today, Cenat. If you have been on the internet recently, you definitely know who Kai is. You can't scroll on social media without seeing at least one of the viral clips from one of his streams. He is known for taking streaming to a whole new level, taking it from the independent in your mother's basement content it started as, to this mainstream show that the biggest celebrities in Hollywood appear on. Kai Cenat started his streaming career in his mother's Bronx apartment, where his first guest was a rat that ran across the room when he was streaming, to now hosting streams with John Cena and Kevin Hart. That's truly a massive rise, and honestly, from one Bronx native to another, that was truly inspiring. Not so much hanging around sellouts like John Cena and Kevin Hart, as I don't mess with sellouts, but seeing his progression from where he started to where he made it to is truly impressive. Seeing Kai grow his platform by working hard and making it out was truly inspiring and a great thing to see. You can't take away the fact that he's a hard worker and has put in a lot of work to make it where he is. However, I know Kai has made it to a level that you can't make it to without selling out. And that's exactly what people are saying Fanum just said about Kai and the AMP crew. For those who don't...
And I know it sounds like, I really don't want to sound negative. I don't want to sound negative. I don't want to sound like a hater or any of that, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, when you know certain things about the industry, it's like, dude, you already know, fam. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. But that's just like saying you can make it to Drake status without selling out. You can make it to Beyonce status without selling out. It's just, come on, dog. You gotta be smarter than that, fam. That you're living in Disneyland, you're living in a fairy tale if you honestly believe that you can make it to Drake status or Kai Cenat status without selling out. You have to, like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be living in a fairy tale. It just is what it is. I hate to say it, it sucks. Right? Because I feel like a lot more people would be in those positions if that wasn't the case, but that's the case. There's something called gatekeepers out here, you know what I'm saying? There's certain algorithms that are not going to push certain people. It just is what it is, right? Or only gonna push them to a certain extent, right? It just is what it is, man.
Don't know. AMP is a streaming collective that consists of several streamers. I Am Davis, Duke Dennis, Fanum, Agent 00, Chris Next Door, and of course, Kai Cenat. The AMP crew started to grow alongside the rise of Kai Cenat. One of the most popular members of the crew, other than Kai, is streamer Fanum. Fun fact, while researching this video, I found out that I went to the same school as Fanum in the Bronx. I'm a bit older than him, so I was in a higher grade. Recently, Fanum hasn't been seen on his stream, Kai's stream, or the AMP stream. This led people to start wondering what's going on, with some people thinking there might be issues between Fanum and AMP. This narrative was further pushed when Fanum seemed to have claimed he lost access to the AMP page, then made some cryptic post on social media that people believe was him exposing AMP. He posted the lyrics to a song that read, "They forgot all the stuff I did. I was feeding the team when I didn't have nothing. I took a risk and I done got all of us rich." On top of this post, he also posted this, "I find it funny. Everything will soon come to light. They should be thanking me. If y'all knew what I knew, y'all would understand. Nothing is a coincidence. Everything is always strategic from them. It's never natural anymore. Every move calculated. It's funny how you gotta watch these closest to you, but that's how it goes. They think they're actual gods. We know who God really is. Their God is money. Mine's isn't." He then posted this, which is what made people the most concerned, stating, "They sold, they mad I won't do it." Even though Fanum didn't specify who he was talking about.
Shout out to Fanum. Stand on that shit, nigga. It's not worth it.
He did mention that it was people close that snaked him. People believe these comments were aimed at AMP and Kai Cenat, which if true, is some very serious allegations. In this post, if he were talking about Kai and AMP, he's painting them as a crew of sellouts. People who compromise themselves for fame, money, and success. This is one of the biggest problems with the industry. When people are faced with the opportunity of crossing over to the next level and making more money, they usually take it without any consideration. They know that it might mean aligning themselves with people and principles they don't agree with. But we know most people would do anything for money. They want to be rich by any means possible.
Especially when you ain't came from shit. When you ain't never had shit, right? And they know the people that they can actually convince to do it. And most of the time it's the people who came from the bottom. Who came from the bottom, and they'll literally do anything to get some money. Do anything to try to help their family. And to be fair, a lot of these people probably had good intentions. Like, man, it is what it is. I'll sacrifice so I can eat and my family can eat. You know, I got kids and I got a mom, you know what I'm saying, who is going through medical issues and shit. I need money for that or whatever. You don't know what people's situation is. So at the end of the day, I don't really want to judge anybody for selling out. I don't really want to judge anybody for doing what they had to do for money. Because you don't know what their situation is. You don't know what their predicament is, you know, at the end of the day. But I mean, me personally, I just, you know, it is what it is. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I just can't do it. But let me know what you guys think about this.
Hence is why Fanum said their god is money. Money is what makes them do what they do. On top of this,
and if you think about it, if you look at all the biggest influencers, all the biggest creators, what do? They constantly call people broke, and they constantly shove money in your face. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with money. No, get your money and do what you want to do. If you want to flex, flex. If you want, whatever the case is, right? I'm not saying that anything's wrong with shit. You worked hard, go ahead and play hard too. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of these creators, celebrities, influencers, right? They just do the absolute most and try to shit on people and try to act better than the next person just because they have more money. Why? Because they do worship God, not worship God. They do worship money as if it were their God. You know what I'm saying?
He revealed that everything with AMP is essentially staged instead of being authentic. I honestly see this too, as streaming gets bigger and bigger. Kai is the perfect example of this. His streams have become over-the-top spectacles that are a complete turnaround from where he started. Kai is obviously getting opportunities that aren't available for just any streamer. He has definitely crossed over to the mainstream world. This is obvious. Kai is signed to United Talent Agency. For those who don't know, UTA represents some of the biggest stars in Hollywood. Some of the actors are part of UTA.
Johnny Depp,
Angelina Jolie, Seth Rogen, Harrison Ford, Olsen Wilson, Channing Tatum, and many, many more. There is no way Kai is signed to this massive talent agency if he hasn't been compromised. The fact that he has access to all these celebrities should tell you all you need to know. Honestly, I have nothing against Kai as a person. He comes off as genuinely humble, but I can see from...
And it sucks that when you know what happens in the industry and all of that, it sucks that people are automatically just going to think that you're hating. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you need to get you some money or whatever the case is. Those people will never understand. They don't want to understand, right? They look at Kai as their god, right? They said in the last days there will be false idols, right? False idols. Who do you think the false idols are, right? These influencers. Come on now, these celebrities, influencers, creators. And a lot of these people put them on a pedestal and idolize them like they're gods, right? Like they're their gods. And then you got these celebrities and influencers idolizing money as if money is their god. You know what I'm saying? Getting them further and further away from the truth, the source, the real God within. You know what I'm saying?
All the way that he's sold out and is being used by the higher ups. He wouldn't have been embraced by mainstream or be all over these commercials. This is why most people think Fanum was referring to Kai and AMP when he said they sold out, especially since he said you have to watch those closest to you, indicating that he was referring to someone close to them. He also claimed that their god is money. Now for some reason, Kai and the AMP members have played around with the idea of selling their souls on more than one occasion. In this old video of Kai that I've shown before, we can see Kai joke around about signing a deal and selling his soul.
If you know what I'm going for, you know what I'm going for. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to sign that deal. I want to sign a deal. Sell my soul. Sell my soul.
Like I always say, people tend to hide the truth in comedy more often than not. In this stream, we see another instance of joking around with the idea of selling your soul. In the stream, Goof Dennis claimed Kai Cenat sold his soul.
Tell him how this nigga like sold his soul. This nigga like sold his soul and shit. Like you really need to dig deep and not.
Again, while this could be seen as a joke, it could again just be hiding the truth in comedy. We know that all those who sell out love hiding the truth in plain sight, and this is exactly what this seems like. People also point to the AMP freestyle they did, where one of the members raps about seeing their friends sell their souls for riches.
I done see my own man sell his soul for some diamonds and some gold, man, this shit no, but I'll be lying if I'm saying it's not tempting.
Now seeing where Kai is at, it's not hard to see he's the one that they're referring to selling his soul. Now I know some people are gonna say that just because he became so popular doesn't mean he sold his soul. They're gonna say that he just worked hard to get there. But like I said, I do agree that Kai worked hard to get where he is. Most people who are famous do. But there's a level you can't reach unless you sell out and agree to be used by the playmakers. Kai Cenat is definitely being used by the playmakers. Doing a T-Mobile commercial is him advertising for the playmakers, pushing their products. Even if Fanum wasn't referring to Kai Cenat and AMP, I still think they sold their souls. Now after the internet went crazy, Kai Cenat actually responded to the claims that Fanum was kicked by saying that it's all cat, calling out people for believing this, stating all of this on his live stream.
Well, how the f*** get bamboozled into thinking Fanum less AMP? Name taken, thanks for the 100 gifted. Appreciate it. Name taken, thanks for the 100 gifted. Bro, thanks for the 100. Hold on. It's not going on right now. Hold on. Appreciate everybody. Chat, let me go ahead and say something, gang. Everybody who fell for Fanum leaving AMP, I'm not going to lie, that just goes to show how much actually watch AMP. No cap. We all know around this time or once out of the year, Fanum has to leave the US to take care of his pollen and stuff like that. You feel me? And that, him doing that, just led into like a whole bunch of, y'all gotta understand, you being on X and you looking at captions and looking at a video that's clipped out of context, bro, you can't always believe that, especially on X. That's where it stems from, especially on X. Did you hear Fanum out his mouth say, I'm out? Did you hear any of us say something like that? No.
According to Kai, Fanum wasn't kicked, and he's out of the country. He then tells people to stop falling for fake narratives, essentially. The only problem is, he doesn't seem to address Fanum claiming they sold their soul, or why he even said any of this, or clarify what or who Fanum was talking about. Fanum clearly made it seem he had issues with his own crew, and said they would do anything for money. Honestly, who else could he be referring to? The fact that Kai didn't address this head on is telling. It's like he was avoiding addressing it directly. Now we also have to take into consideration that Fanum himself hasn't addressed any of this after his post went viral. Realistically, this could have all been taken out of context or just been a publicity stunt. Regardless, it doesn't change my mind that Kai Cenat definitely sold out to make it where he is today. Sadly, it's the same move that most people do in that position. Kai being signed to United Talent Agency that deals with the biggest names in Hollywood already tells you all you need to know. This is the opposite of being independent. He's the definition of a mainstream celebrity. It's the only reason he's able to have made it to that level. You have to understand that there's a machine behind all of this. If the machine don't push that button on you...
I try to tell y'all. Even J. Cole said there's machines behind certain people. Y'all just don't want to believe it, man. Y'all just want to believe, like you said, they just worked hard. You know how many people work hard? You know how many more talented people there are? Right? Not taking away from any celebrity who made it to where they are, right? But do you know that there's even more talented people who work harder than the people that we see and we know to be celebrities, right? Why didn't they make it, right? Why did certain people make it and other people didn't? You know what I'm saying? And of course, there's different variables, there's different factors and all of that, right? But at the same time, you got to know, when you get to a certain level in your career, whatever, in the entertainment industry, whether you're an actor, actress, whether you're a content creator, influencer, whether you are a streamer, whether you are a, artist, singer, dancer even, right? There's gonna be a point to where you've got to make a decision to cross over. And to a lot of these celebrities and influencers, it's just the most logical next step for them. You know what I'm saying? Of course I'm gonna cross over. Of course I want more money. Of course I want more fame. Of course. So what do I need to sign? Let me go ahead and sign it. What do I gotta do? Let me go ahead and do it. Even though it goes against the very things that they believe, you know, are true or not true. Well, you know what I'm talking about. They're going against their morals. They're going against everything that they know to be true about themselves. They're not standing on what they believe in. They're not standing on, you know, the truth, you know? But that's just my opinion, you know what I'm saying?
You're never going to make it to the level Kai made it to. We can see he's sold out by the things he promotes as well. Kai's stream pushes the same values Hollywood pushes. It's because Kai is Hollywood. Realistically, none of these streamers are pushing anything positive. I was considering making a video exposing the truth about these big streamers. If that's something you would like to see, comment expose the streamers below. These people are a part of the matrix, not against it. You have to unplug from the mainstream matrix and free yourself from their grip. In order to do that, you have to change the way you live your life. Most Americans eat what the system feeds them, drinks what the system feeds them, and watches TV program that the system feeds them. The system creates their identity and limits who they can be. People don't spend time learning about God or learning themselves anymore. They learn what the machine wants them to learn. They don't consume healthy foods, and they don't learn about the right things. This is what's needed to unplug yourself from the matrix. Learn what they know. Eat the opposite of what they put in front of you, and always align yourself with God, following His moral path, and never sell out. None of these streamers are pushing anything positive, sadly. They're all a part of the machine. Well, I'm gonna end this one.
Hey man, great video. The truth is, great video. All right, now whether you agree or disagree, that's all up to you. And I think it's beautiful if you disagree. I think it's beautiful if you agree. Either way, you know what I'm saying? Like, we are all here to have our own opinions. So with that being said, I want you to leave a comment down below and let me know what your opinion is on this situation here. You could be like, Diamond, you crazy as fuck to be thinking this. That's fine. I love it. You know what I'm saying? But comment down below and let me know that, right? You can say, Diamond, I feel you, but this part I don't agree with. That's fine too. Comment down below and let me know that. Or if you agree with everything I'm saying, which probably ain't, you know what I'm saying? Probably not, but comment down below and let me know that. But anyway, man, yeah, that's about it for this video. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell their Aunt, your mama, tell their Uncle Joey, still a hall. We'll see you guys in the next motherfucking video, and I love y'all, man. Peace. We out, baby.